Hello, YouTube friends. So I recently found my video that I posted a couple of years ago, and I felt kind of bad because I never did an update on the project. Well, I figured that not a lot of people were interested in it, but again, according to the comments and 528 views, I'm assuming some of you are want to know what ended up happening. Well, here's the telephone that was featured in the video. So I will go ahead and tell you what happened. I was actually able to get the system working with 4 lines, and whenever you would press the line, it would connect to that line and light the light and the keys. And also, it would put the call on hold by activating a relay, and it would run the line through a resistor and flash the key. And it actually worked okay. But after a while, I ended up putting it in a project box. So I had the phone actually hooked up to our main phone line and a couple of voice over IP lines that I had. But I didn't really end up using it that much. After a while, I decided to revise the project a little bit, and I came up with some connectors internally in the project box. But I ended up wiring it wrong and frying the Arduino board by sending telephone line current through it. I eventually bought a new Arduino and messed around with it a little bit more, but I ended up just kind of abandoning the project. Now it's in a storage unit, and I wouldn't mind pulling it back out and playing around with it, but because of shelter-in-place orders, I do not have access to it right now. So now one of the reasons I even remembered about this is because I recently got another phone line, and I also got hooked up to the collector's telephone network. So I now actually do have 4 working lines. So I decided to pull this phone out again. But this time I just have it connected directly without any key system control. So that's really, in essence, what happened to the project. Again, if you guys would like the Arduino code that I had for it, you're welcome to have it. Just send me a message, a personal message in YouTube. Now, I'm assuming that if you showed interest in that project, that you are a telephone enthusiast, just like I am, and so I will go ahead and show off all my telephone equipment. So here's the 565H set. Um, and then I also have a Western Electric 300 series wall mount phone. It's connected to our second phone line. That is a really cool bell system ad that I recently got from the 1940s. As you can tell, it's from the World War II era. All right, and over here is here's another project that I'm working on right now. It's a CTC11, 1961 CTC11 color TV set. So here are my telephones. I've got a couple of 500 sets. This is a 1960s Western Electric, and this is also a 60s Western Electric. That is an ITT, and that is a Stromberg Carlson clone. That right there is my pride and joy, a true red thermoplastic 302 from the early 50s. This is probably one of the more valuable phones in my collection. This is just a painted 302. It's not made out of the green thermoplastic. It also has an automatic electric dial on it, so it's kind of a, I guess you could call it a Franken phone. This is another one of my favorites. This is a 1938 zinc body 302, and it's got the number 4 dial. I actually frequently connect this to my main phone line and use it. This is just a standard run-of-the-mill thermoplastic 302, but this one is in very, very good shape. It's in all original condition, and it's not been used very much. This is a early 60s 500 set. This is a 5302 with the G handset. Okay, here's a Kellogg Masterphone, red bar. Now this one was actually designed to work uh, on their little intercom system. So the dial pulsing is backwards. It's normally open and then closes for the pulses rather than the other way around. So it's not really possible to use it on a normal phone line. This is a Swedish telephone. As you can see, the 0 is in the front. So in the Swedish system, 1 pulse stands for 0 and 10 pulses stand for 9. It's kind of interesting. This is a Polish telephone from the, I believe it's from the 80s. Here's my butt set. Very useful. Also, I've got my workbench set up here temporarily as I'm working from home at the moment. Okay, and then I also have this magneto telephone. So this is a Western Electric 151AL telephone with the 22A subset. Okay, so this is the 22A subset right here, and this is the 151AL candlestick. So it's wired for local battery magneto service, and I actually have it hooked up to another magneto telephone in our kitchen. So we're using it as an intercom, and I also have period correct wiring with my knobs and tubes there. Alright, so and I got a couple more telephones over here as well. This is the GPO trim phone. This is actually one of the world's first telephones with an electronic ringer. This is a neat phone too. It's quite rare. It's Austrian telephone. I've not been able to find much information on these. This is a Codaphone 700, and for those of you who don't know what that is one of the first commercially available answering machines, which actually works, and I have it hooked up to my phone line. So if you give me a call and I'm not at home, this thing will answer. It's got a big tape cartridge in there, and then it has a second tape for the outgoing message in here, which is normally closed. And to access it, you have to remove a couple of screws. Now, this answering machine, whenever it picks up on the first ring, so you turn it off when you don't want it to answer, and then if you leave, you turn it on. And then this here is my light on here is my Leak Model 90. I think it's pronounced leak or like. Leich. It's from the 20s. It's a manual telephone, and I actually have it hooked up to the collector's telephone network, and it's set up for manual service. So as soon as I take the phone off hook, it hot dials the AI operator that they have on CNET, and he asks for the number, and I, tell it to him, and so this essentially works exactly as it's supposed to, which is really, really neat. And last but not least, I want to show you my 3-slot payphone, which I also have working 100%. This is an automatic electric payphone, and it is semi-post pay. What that means is you pick up the phone, you get dial tone, you dial the number, and as soon as the party answers, the polarity of the line reverses, which operates a relay that blocks your transmitter until you drop in a dime. Okay, and with the Grandstream Handytone 502, you can actually set it up to reverse polarity upon successful call establishment, so that allows this payphone to work 100%. Well, that's it, guys. Again, I apologize for not making any videos. So whenever I get access to my storage unit again, I'll get that system working again and make a video on how it operates.